Oh, it's lit. We prime time. Subscribe, like, and share. Give us your feedback. Yo, I'm Manny at the plate and Kobe off a steal. Gretzky for the goal and Brady at the wheel. I'm a game changer, the Osaka of the tennis. And breaking scoreboards, Simone of the Olympics. Defense and big business, the Mayweather who way better. From the greatness of Jim Brown, I've been down. Talking sports before I was off the porch. Screaming Bo knows while Jordan was playing horse. Late 80s getting torched by the drive and the shot. 2016 got a ring off the 3 in the block. They eased to forgot the cardiac kids. Price and Doherty, Bell in the Indian years. This who it is. Your host DeeTrynt, yo, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer. Yo, your host DeeTrynt, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer. Man, what's really, really good? DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz. You know what I'm saying? What's popping with y'all, man? It's December 1st. All right? That means you got 30 more days to do whatever it is you're going to do before you start having to live by your resolution. You know, it's that part of the year where everybody get their New Year's resolutions and you know.
New year, new me.
You know how I go. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to change over my life. I'm going to do things in my life I ain't never did before. You know what I'm saying? And, well, hopefully, you know, one of our 2 active sports teams right now really does that. Okay? You know, the Cavs are playing phenomenal. You know, a lot of people question whether Coach Bickerstaff would be able to lead this group, help them grow. We've always had player development issues, which seem to have been changing during the Kobe Altman tenure. Kobe Altman was questioned. And I know I brought this up a few times, but he was just so questioned. Well, he's a bad GM, and he don't know how to draft, and he's not getting the right players, and so forth, okay? And the Cavs now sit at 11-11 and seem like one of them, like a playoff team. They seem like a playoff team with 2 all-stars, young all-stars under 24. All right. And 2 veterans that seem to fit good in the roles that they're asked to play. That's not even including the fact that you got other guys on here like Chetty, who's starting to feel comfortable in his role, and you know, Okoro and Mobley, who are still growing, who bring you something stellar defensively, and they're still growing and could potentially be massive offensive threats. These goddamn Cavs look so good, okay? And we gonna talk about them in a second, but we gotta talk about these damn Browns who obviously ain't got a damn clue. Now, I say that jokingly, all right, because believe it or not, you know, the Browns, they've been all right, man. It ain't been all bad. But it ain't been good either. You know, we already came into the season questioning whether Baker Mayfield was going to be the guy or could he lead this team. And unfortunately, he hasn't really shown anything right now. Let's get into specific topics, all right? Especially when it comes to these Browns. The Browns lose to the Ravens, and the defense played excellent. Just bottom line. You know, at one point in the season, I said it was Coach Stefanski and his play calling. You know, at another time, I've seen that Baker just be missing reads. It's a lot of times where, I ain't gonna say a lot of times. There are times when the receivers don't hold on to passes they should, or don't get separation when needed. And to me, this thing boils down to one or 2 things. And since one thing is already eliminated, I have to go with the other. Now, my first thing was the play call. I'm like, damn, Stefanski ain't really calling the right plays or why. But the more that I notice it, I'm noticing that, Kevin Stefanski play calling isn't the issue. It's when he has to come up with another play because they fucked up the play that was going to work. All right? For example, the screenplay that Baker bobbled, right? The epitome of what I mean by one or two problems. The screenplay was a good call. There was nothing wrong with the screenplay. The problem was Baker didn't recognize the blitz before the play started. He didn't recognize where the pressures was at, or there was no communication between him and the line and whoever that could tell, hey, this person gonna blitz why. So that way y'all could, try to improvise out of that. There was another play in the red zone where he throws a down and in to DPJ, who by the time he goes to actually catch the ball is surrounded by like 3 defensive backs. But it was a play action play to the left. I want you to understand this. It's a play action bootleg to the left. And Baker ends up throwing it back right, virtually across the field to a deep down and in. All right. But when he came out of the bootleg, he had Njoku and Hooper right there on the same side of the field as him with virtually no defender over there. And he doesn't throw them the ball. So again, the bootleg was the right call. But again, Baker just, I don't understand how you don't throw it to the tight ends on this play. I was debating with some people online, and they're like, oh, your progression and your reads and all this. And let me tell you something, man. Yes, you got progression and reads when it comes to football. But at the end of the day, it's still football. And the name of the game is to throw it to the open man or take advantage of the defense. You know what I'm saying? To try to get the most out of the play. Okay, if you come out of a play action bootleg and your primary receiver isn't open, you don't wait for him to get open if it's not necessary. You throw it to the open guy. Baker rarely throws it to the open guy. I mean, you can bring up footage after footage after footage, all right? And I'll say this again. This all stems from Baker's lack of ability to read defenses. Because Baker cannot read defenses, all right, he doesn't make great decisions when it's time to throw the ball. He's, in my opinion, he's even regressed to the point where he's staring down his targets. He's staring down targets, all right? There's no eye manipulation with the safeties. There's no body manipulation for the linebackers. He's just zeroed in like a rookie quarterback. And listen, we talk as much shit as we want about the defense and Joe Woods. The defense has played great. I mean, outside of, let me see. They've allowed 4 teams to score over 30 points, right? The Chiefs, the Patriots, the Cardinals, and damn, was it the Chargers? It might have been the Chargers. It was one or the other, all right? But they've also held multiple teams to under 20 points. Matter of fact, everybody else they've played, the other 8 games, or at least 7 out of 8 games, the other team didn't score over 20 points. A lot of those games, they didn't even score 17 points. And the Browns still found a way to barely win or lose those games. All because you can't put up points, and this offense was stellar. So I seen the press conference with Andrew Berry. And they was asking him a lot of questions. Now, this is one time where Cleveland sports media, I feel like, didn't ask a bunch of dumb questions. I thought they asked some really legit questions, and I thought they asked them in a very legit way, which speaks volume because I feel like Tony Grossi never asks good questions. He's like a drama queen, and I feel like Mary Kay has gotten better this year. Um, she's gotten better this year. I give her a lot more credit than I give Tony Grossi. But they asked, in so many, hey, Andrew Berry, the offense is not looking good. What happened? What do you think is going on? They asked him this in multiple ways. And he said there's no continuity. The play comes in to the quarterback says it to everybody else, and on any given play, it could be a breakdown of linemen, it could be a breakdown of the quarterback, the breakdown of the receivers, or just the play call itself in general, which is accurate. That's not even a cliche answer. That's actually accurate. The offense is not in sync in that way. So, why is it not in sync? Now, injuries play a part of this, but not to the point where, you're incapable of making an impact, which is what this Browns offense has seemed to kind of come to a point of where, they like aren't able to make an impact. Like teams are kind of just game planning for the defense. And that should never be with a number one overall pick. You know what I'm saying? Your quarterback is the number one overall pick out of what seems to be a very loaded draft now. And he can't read defenses, bro. That's a big problem. But Andrew Berry saying that it was spot on. But Baker is the consistent in that. All right, he's kind of the main thing because even if wait, hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. Hold on, give me 1 second. Because let me get back. Okay, because even if Stefanski calls the wrong play, per se, Baker, you're still the guy who hikes the ball, which means you get a chance to pre-read the defense before snap. Baker, I just, like, case in point, okay? It was a few drops that the Browns had against the Ravens that even though the receiver dropped the ball or the receiver was short on getting yards after the catch, I didn't blame the receiver. I blamed Baker for his ball placement. I had a conversation with a homie who said Baker can only throw bullets or he could throw it deep, but he doesn't know how to differentiate his passes, the touch pass from the bullet pass, from the lob. And I think that has some legitimacy. I'm going to go as far as to say Baker doesn't know how to read ball placement correctly. Not that he can't, not that he haven't, not that he doesn't have ball placement, that he can't put the ball in a spot. I think he can. But we all know that football is 90% mental before it's physical. And if you don't know that, you should know that. Football is mental. Mostly any sport is, like, when you want to be good at it like that, it's mental before it's physical. You have to be able to, outthink and see things happen before they play out. And that's what helps your body have that muscle memory or, that be in that position to improvise on the fly. Because, your brain controls all the messages to the rest of your limbs. So if your brain is prepared for something, If it's conditioned to recognize certain things and you've practiced with your body, how, then this is what happens. Baker doesn't practice pre-read snaps. He doesn't. All right, you got to excuse me. I'm kind of like sharing the broadcast too as I'm going. You feel what I'm saying? Try to get some more views and feedback, whatever the case. But, Baker is the consistent in this situation. Anytime that the front office is getting questioned about the quarterback, the coaching staff is getting questioned about the quarterback, uh, your position players, or your skill position players, their relatives are speaking out against your quarterback, then it's quite apparent that the quarterback is the problem. Now, once again, I attribute this to the fact that Baker can't read defenses, man. He either can't or he won't. It's one or the other. Either way is a big problem for a guy drafted number 1 overall in a draft where 2 of the 4 quarterbacks drafted after you have already been paid or guaranteed to be paid. Now, what I think the Browns will do, I say this on a few blogs. Make sure you follow InDaStreetzSportz.com. Check out the blogs and the articles going on right there between, this around the league and all Cleveland and Ohio sports, all right? But I think Baker's going to be back with the Browns next year. Now, will he be then recovered enough and be healthy all the way to start the season? I mean, most likely, especially if the Browns don't make the playoffs. But that's also doesn't work to his favor either, because he's either going to get a contract extension that's less favorable, or he's not going to get re-signed at all. At the beginning of this year, I would have said, Baker, about 30, 35 million is cool, not 40. But after 12 games into the season, bro, 25 million lightweight seemed like a reach. And that's not good. That's not good. So the Browns still have him under contract for the rest of the season and next season. I think this draft presents them with the opportunity to make a move at the quarterback position. Most likely and most conceivably, they'll draft a guy. It's very likely they could bring in another veteran type of guy who might have been a former high pick, because, Case Keenum, he still got another year on his contract, but I look at it as like next year is Baker's last year on his contract and Case Keenum last year on his contract. So it would just be smart for the front office to look for a third QB this offseason. Whether that be via draft and he's just sitting in stash and they pull the San Francisco mode route, which I think is highly likely. Or, they take a guy in the later rounds and see if they can coach him up, give Baker a chance, so that way you don't take too much controversy. The Browns take a quarterback, in the 4th, 5th round, 6th round. Ain't nobody batting the eye at that, because they will understand that, if Baker is the guy of the future, you still need a backup guy that you need to be grooming. If he's not the guy, then you're going to need a guy that's going to be able to play placeholder until you find the guy. So, and then with the system Stefanski got, it leaves a lot of room to be able to put in a guy who can at least be competent at the position. With that being said, next year's draft pool for quarterbacks isn't the greatest. Maybe somebody could emerge in these, in these playoffs and all that, and maybe. But I think it's the draft after that in 2023 or the draft in 2024, where the Browns would most conceivably find the quarterback of the future if Baker is not in. Now, I could see a scenario where Baker eventually becomes the backup and he still plays for the Browns. I know that sounds crazy, but I will say this. Baker comes back next year. He has a pretty good season. Or, he has a decent season and, the Browns, they just not in a financial position at that time. You get Baker back for around $30 million for 3 seasons. You might give him $100 million for 3 seasons. All right. The last year is an opt out. That gives you a quarterback in place until you can get to the draft that's probably gonna have good quarterbacks. That gives you a chance to find a replacement for Case Keenum. And if you do find a guy before the end, that gives him a couple years to actually grow in the system. Or, he's going to grow in the system enough to where, he could be the placeholder until, it's just, all I'm getting at is that the Browns have a lot of scenarios that help them find the right solution for the quarterback position. So it's not they don't necessarily have to do anything right now, but keep building up the rest of the team. Which, will probably come with a new number one receiver. It's probably going to come with an extension for Jadeveon Clowney and an extension for Malik McDowell. It's probably going to come with the addition of another linebacker. Because I don't think Taki or Mac Wilson will be back unless they take significant pay cuts. I don't think they'll be back. So and Ronnie Harrison Jr. I don't think he's gonna be back either. With that being said, I've said all this about the Browns, and the person will want to know, what do you think how the rest of the season will go? How the rest of the season will go? Okay, so let's look at this. Right, the Browns are 6-6. They currently sit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. 12 in the playoff standings. Only 7 teams get in the playoffs. The Browns sit 12th. Now, in their favor, they play the Raiders within a 2-week span, so they could win that. They play Baltimore again. They could win that. They play the Packers. They play the Steelers. And they play the Bengals. At the rate, if I'm judging the Browns off what I've seen them play in 12 games, I have no reason to believe that they'll win 5 games straight. That hurts to say as a Browns fan. That hurts to say. But I don't have a reason that they'll win 5 straight games. Not with the way that they've played. If the offense can actually find a way to at least score a touchdown a quarter, then yeah, I think the Browns could definitely go 5-0. If they can score a touchdown, at least a touchdown a quarter. Or at least score off turnovers. I think those 2 things they can win. But I don't see that happening. Everything in me telling me they're gonna whoop the Ravens on this second go round, coming off the bye week. I have a feeling that the Ravens are going to lose to the Steelers. This could be wishful thinking, but I just think after the Bengals just mollywop the Steelers, that they definitely about to come back and whoop the Ravens, because that's just how our division is. The AFC North is just always up for fucking grabs, and anybody can be anybody on any given day. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the NFL, but like really in the AFC North, like it's a different brand of football up here. So I think they beat the Ravens. I think they beat the Raiders. I think they go into overtime, but I think they beat the Raiders. That'll put them at 8-6, and they'll make it look a little different for the playoff picture. But I don't have a lot of faith that they'll beat Aaron Rodgers on Christmas. And I don't have a lot of faith that they'll beat the Bengals a second time. I think they'll get revenge on the Steelers. But I don't have a lot of faith they'll beat the Bengals a second time because we played them the last game of the season, and the Bengals might already be in the playoffs. I mean, imagine, look at me saying the Bengals might already have a solidified playoff spot by the time we get to week 17. The Bengals, who we thought weren't going to be shit this year, they're second in the division. So, if you're asking me, Browns go 3-2 down the stretch. They finished the season 9-8, missed the playoffs, and Baker doesn't get an extension. They draft a wide receiver and a linebacker. And that's just about where I'm at with the Browns, man, because, I'm going to tell you, when they lost to the Cardinals, when they got whooped by the Cardinals, I was already like, oh, yeah, this season over. Because that was the measuring stick. The Cardinals got the best record in the league. The Cardinals came into Cleveland and dropped 37. It was easy. So at that point, it was over for me. All right, so I've already started looking at next season. I've already started looking at, what they might do or can do. Hey, call me crazy. Some people could say, I'm being unrealistic or I'm not having much faith in my team. You can only go off track record, all right? And the Browns don't have a really great track record for showing up in the clutch. And I hate to say that. And part of that is our franchise isn't known to have clutch quarterbacks. If you go back, Brian Sight was the most clutch, and Otto Graham were the most clutch two quarterbacks we ever had. But also saying that, all our big-time quarterbacks has always been white. The Browns never drafted and spent the high number one draft pick on a black quarterback, ever. But that's a conversation for another day. So I got the Browns going 9-8. I did have them going 13-4 originally. Clearly, I gave them 4 wins too many. They could very well shock me and go 11-6 and finish out the season and end up in the playoffs, which I would absolutely love and be ecstatic about. But I just don't have a lot of faith. I'm going to tell you who I do got faith in, though. These goddamn Cavs. Oh, do I got faith in these Cavs. All right, look. The Cavs have been playing outstanding. Did you see the game the other day? Did you see them play the other day? I don't think you seen them play the other day, okay? When they played the Mavericks, all right? Luka was on fire, bro. Luka had a triple-double. Luka hit his first, 6 3-pointers. Hey, Luka was on some Nash. Luka was going in. But that goddamn Darius Garland, boy, and that goddamn Lauri Marketing, and that damn Jared Allen, them boys a problem. JB, and I'm going to say this, man. I wasn't a fan of starting Lauri Marketing. But JB raw. A 7-foot shooter is any NBA defense's worst nightmare. Because who's going to block his shot? Like, he's virtually an open shot every time he shoot the ball. I've been saying, or I've been thinking and saying, hey, if they get him shots around the whole floor, it's going to really open shit up. No, not just at the 3-point line, but, get him open for little 2-pointers. Middle of the lane. Switch off on a smaller defender. Turn around. All of those, all right? The whole name of sports is finding a mismatch. I mean, I don't care what sports you play. You always want the mismatch in your favor because that gives you the least resistance of scoring. You know what I'm saying? You want your best offensive player, you know what I'm saying, on their worst defensive player at all times, no matter what sport. And you always want your best defensive player on their best offensive player, depending. Or at least the most impactful. The guy that's gonna get everything ignited. All right? And let me tell you how the Cavs do this. The Cavs, it's a shame that Sexton is down. But when you got Allen in the paint, bro, it's a different story. Jared Allen is 6'11" with a 7'4", 7'5" wingspan who run like a fast small forward. All right? He ain't LeBron fast, but he lightweight like Bridges fast or, like Hunter fast. Like, he pretty fast. And he got ups. Like he got real springs. So, a guy like that who plays in the paint, he's going after rebounds. He's athletic enough to get certain 50-50 balls. He can play above the rim. He has post moves. Jared Allen got post feet work. Boy, if you'd have seen some of the moves that he was putting on the Mavs, okay, and some people say, oh, he was doing that to Moses Brown. Well, you do know Moses Brown is his peer, right? Like, you do know Jared Allen is 23 and Moses Brown is like 21. So, like, they play. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, so you can't really say that. All right? He still put them same moves on Porzingis' ass, too. It wasn't like he was discriminating. You feel me? Even though Porzingis did posterize my boy, I ain't gonna lie. And shouts out to KP because it's nice to see the unicorn playing like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Porzingis was out there with the dribbles. He got step backs. He hit people with the cross and the move with the. I say, look at the unicorn, though. He was out there balling. It was fire. I ain't gonna lie. But that Jared Allen was just housing them boards, bruh. And then, complimentary basketball, Marker didn't get to hitting that three, and then Garland get to hitting that three. So now you're running out, or I'm going to really say how I really go right now. When Marker didn't get to hitting the three, they already know Garland is next to get his three going. Garland knows they know that. So he know that as soon as he get the ball, they already running to him. Once he catch them over pursuing, or he can hit them with that shot fake and put the ball on the floor and penetrate, he can either pull up for the two, the floater, or lob it to Allen. If not, kick it back out for a three. That's too many options. All right? And you find a lot of times because the Cavs have shown that they're going to hit the three, Osman's going to hit the three, Love's going to hit the three, Markin is going to hit the three, Garland's going to hit the three. You know what I'm saying? Even Rubio's going to hit the three. Because you've seen that, teams are playing the passing lanes for the kickouts, which is why Jared Allen is getting so many lobs at the paint. You can't defend everything all the time. You're going to have to give up something. But the fact that Darius Garland is becoming a very great decision maker is just adding. So, Allen had 26 and 4. Was it 26 and 14? Yeah, he had 28 And 14, all right, 28, 14, 3 assists, a block. With his plus minus was plus 30. This is your 23-year-old center who you just signed for $100 million. And some people argued you overpaid. 28, 14, and 3 assists with a plus minus of plus 30. That's fucking insane. What about Lauri Markkanen? Oh, you gave him 4 years, $67 million. And that's, I don't know what Kobe Altman's doing. This is stupid. And, J.B. Bickerstaff starting him at the 3. And this is even more stupider. And Lauri Markkanen has 24 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and he had a plus minus of plus 23. Darius Garland had 18 points, 9 assists, 2 rebounds, and had a plus minus of plus 22. Man, listen, I think I was the first person saying Coach Bickerstaff should be getting Coach of the Year considerations for the way that he is running this team. I said that after like game 5. I'm like, JB on this ding. All right. Now you hear people piggybacking and this whatever. But bruh, he got these boys playing. Let me tell you something that was interesting about this game. Evan Mobley was not a big part of the reason that we got the lead, but he was a big part of the reason why we kept the lead. Markkanen, Allen, and Garland took over the game. They were good neutralizers to what Luka was doing because Luka was getting off. Porzingis was lightweight getting off too, but Porzingis went down at the end of the third, literally like the last 5 seconds of the third quarter. He went out. I hope he ain't injured too much, man, because I like the way he's been playing. You know what I'm saying? He was on a 7-game stretch of like 20 and 10 or something. I want to see KP still do his thing. But he went out, and in the fourth quarter, the Cavs just took over. 2 other guys off this bench, man, for the minutes they're getting, you want to talk about impact. Ricky Rubio finished the game with 7 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, and had a plus minus of plus 30. That's fucking insane. Kevin Love played how many minutes? 17 minutes. Now, Rubio did this in 28 minutes. Kevin Love played 17 minutes. Kevin Love had 10 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and had a plus minus of plus 15. Bruh, Mobley, who I was talking about, all right, when I said he helped them keep the game, because in the fourth quarter, he started getting his shot. Like, in the beginning, Porzingis lightweight had the clamps on his ass, though, I ain't gonna lie. They was frustrating the fuck out of Mobley. But, again, Coach JB so fucking smart, bro. When you got to deal with a 7-foot Markkanen shooting and a 7-foot Allen, in the paint, you could only contain Mobley for so long. You know what I'm saying? And they really was frustrating Mobley on defense because they was calling for ticky-tack ass fouls. So Mobley had like 3 fouls in the first half. In the second half, he did a lot better job. But he had 3 fouls in the first half. But he ended the game with 12 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, a steal, 2 blocks. He had 5 turnovers, which you don't like. But he still had a plus minus of plus 5. Isaac Okoro had 10 points. Isaac Okoro had this nasty. He got it on the Rubio was pushing the ball up, gave it to him on the wing. He faked like he was gonna take this take the screen with the jab step and took that first step down the baseline, oh my God. First off, Okoro got fucking hops, bro. Hey, his defense raw, but bitch got springs, bro. He was on a trampoline, okay? And he dunked so aggressively and so strong. And you need that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have guys who can go to the hole and boom on people. That's important in the playoffs. People who can do that off the dribble, that's important in the playoffs. People who can get their own jump shot off the dribble, that's important in the playoffs. People who can hold down the paint or hit set shots. All of these things are important. Perimeter defenders, inside defenders, having a variation of these things are very important. And because of the way JB Bickerstaff is using these guys, and then he still has a a Dylan Windler, a Kevin Pankos, a Denzel Valentine, a Ed Davis, and a Lamar Stevens still at his disposal. All right. Oh, what does that mean? Ed Davis is a rebounder. He's a veteran guy who's going to rebound. Lamar Stevens is a wing guy who can defend. He actually got an offensive game, but he can defend at a high level. Denzel Valentine is a wing guy who can defend at a pretty high level, but he also has a three. Windler has an amazing jump shot, and so does Pankos. So you still got guys, even though they may not be able to play up to the level of your starters or your top backups on a consistent level, they still come in and fill a role with their skill sets that allows you to play and manipulate. Because Lamar Stevens came in early in the rotation and got 2 quick fouls. Lamar Stevens didn't come back in until the fourth quarter, and we was already up like 20. All right, just to show you how good, or just try to get like a quick glimpse of an example of, the type of coaching that JB Bickerstaff is doing right now, man. It's fucking amazing. As it goes in the NBA standings, man, the Cavs sit 8th. All right, they sit 8th. Brooklyn sits at number 1 with 14 wins. With 15 wins and 6 losses. And the Cavs at 11 and 10, tied with New York, Philly, Atlanta, and Boston. This is without Sexton. This is being without Love for a while and marketing for a while. Man, listen. I'm just trying to tell you, watch out for these Cavs, boy. Now, they play Miami tonight in Miami. Unfortunately, there'll probably be no Jimmy Butler playing. There's talks of Bam Adebayo not playing as well. I don't think Tyler Hero played in the last game either, so I don't know what his game status is for tonight. The Cavs are probably going to give them a tough run for their money, even with those guys in. It's hard for me to see them winning this game, seeing Miami winning this game tonight. I'm definitely picking the Cavs beating Miami in Miami because Cleveland has shown this season that it does not matter if we're home or on the road. They're going to play their game. I lightweight expect Evan Mobley to have a nice bounce back game. Listen, I wouldn't even be surprised if he dropped a career high tonight. It could get real. So, as we're end of 2021, or we're getting into the last days of 2021, and I don't know where you at in the world. You could be up north where the snow at, you know what I'm saying, and you getting ready for your Christmas time, be around the chimney, the fireplace with the loved ones, getting that good heat, man, cocoa and the rub and kicking it, you could be in one of these southern states that's on enjoying this nice weather, during the Christmas holiday season. Wherever you at, man, I want you to be safe. I want you to protect yours. It's been a crazy couple years. So, I just want everybody to be safe. All right. And with that said, I'm gonna end the show. It was great talking to you all today. We'll probably dub back maybe tomorrow and do something, and talk more about around the league as far as what's going on around the NBA. Now that we're almost now that we're a quarter of a season, a quarter of a way into the season, uh, go over the rest of the teams in the NFL and why, the AFC is going to present a problem for the Browns making the playoffs, and why the NFC is making it a case that, the Super Bowl might just come out of the NFC. So I am DeeTrynt. This is Game Changer Sports Talk, Industry Sports, man. Like, subscribe, share, give us your feedback. Let us know how you like things, man. We'll holler at you later.